Hello, everyone. Join me as I celebrate like-minded individuals who are examples of success and excellence. Here are their stories in their words. Welcome to the Sit Down with Reitumetse Shebe. Enjoy the episode. This week on the Sit Down.
I have always been fascinated by the truth. And I'm disappointed in men because they are God's best friend and they're tiptoeing around it.
I love it here. How the sit down is amazing. I love it. We're not Khalil.
Hi everyone, my name is Reitumetse Shebe. Welcome to the Sit Down. Hi guys. I really do like to be comfortable because reporting live from the Sit Down studios. I am with my fellow journalists, so I'll be crossing live to Dipuo Mofokeng, who's currently on the scene. Dipuo, over to you.
Reitumetse, thank you so much for having me. Today we are in Visonia. It is absolutely beautiful. Reporting live right here.
Yes.
I'll be telling you the scene as it happens. It is calm, it is beautiful, it is lovely, and thank you so much for having me. I am very honored, but as you can see, today there are no sparks flying in the air. It is absolute bliss.
Environment is one.
Trust me, Reitumetse, I'm in the shock of my career. For the first time in my life, I'm not dodging any bullets. I'm not calling any SAPS. I'm not even calling the president. For once, I'm not even calling my editor. I'm just chilled. It is vibes, and I absolutely love it.
Thank you for joining us. Hello, ma'am.
Hi, how are you?
As a country, as a group. Why?
As a fellow journalist, you know.
Thank you, darling. Yes, I do.
But only the strongest are still remaining and holding it off.
English,
I was just so torn.
Back to our roots.
Yes.
Also, okay.
Everywhere.
Jack, what is snow? Snow. What is it? You I will tell why you say who's like
when you so carrying Kalizenkenyana, carrying ya hana watu South Africa mona wena o scanetsa ntho tse
what's another dream song o sa stress
ke zama o tla le di shellenyana o ya ke zama o tla le di shellenyana kare ha setsa Durban bana beso ha setsa Cape Town ke tsa Palma de Mallorca money Spain ngwana so ke samme
Palma
yeah I want to talk about the mispronounce tla twa leng kakapa
so what's Spanish man please teach me how would you like
of course, I think that's where we start so that you can identify when someone is frustrated. So the minute they start saying that offensive word, you know that, oh, they're frustrated, and they're like, ma'am, how can I help you? Are you frustrated? Yes, please help me. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So yeah.
Your calling is to be at service.
Yes, which is quite weird. I never thought it was. I only learned now. I always thought that my breakthrough or my career will be centered around journalism and media specifically.
Right.
Never in my wildest dreams did I think that it will venture into something else, which doesn't even remove me from journalism. At all times, when I conversed with guests on board, they would always say, what did you study? And I'm like, journalism. And they're like, we can tell. I'm like, oh God, I've been trying to hide it for all my life.
You can't hide it.
It fills the room. I try so hard to not make the next person feel like, oh my God, I have questions to answer. She's gonna want evidence. She's gonna want to investigate, and it always pops up in one way or another.
Here's my thing about you. If I had a twin, it would be you. And I said this very loudly when I used to be employed, and I said, yes, I'm leaving, but I know someone who can handle this.
Hey.
And I think that's important. Realizing that just because we're in the same field doesn't mean you have to make sure you don't get opportunities, even though I know what it is. So knowing who you are means you can give someone the opportunity on a silver platter and say, yay, you're really good at this.
And this is what I've always respected about you as well, because I've never felt like I was in any competitive space with you at any particular point in time, because in this industry where we are all journalists, everyone is trying to break the story first and trying to break it as best as they can. But in the presence of Reitumetse Shebe, I've never felt like, oh my God, I need to break it first. Or let me be more articulate than she is. Or she didn't cover that angle, let me cover that angle. With you, it's always been, here's the baiting. Or let's run.
Together, we're in the race.
Exactly, that's what I've always respected about you, which is something that's quite rare in the industry where they kind of make us compete against each other, but don't make it seem that way, but you always pick it up. But with you, I've never felt like I'm in competition with you whatsoever. So it makes the space very free to be myself, very free to say, oh my God, you know? And I've never felt at any particular time that you've never made me feel like you're my superior or you're beneath me or whatever, even though you have more experience than me. Your teaching or your lessons that you've taught me in the field have never made me feel any less of a journalist that I am. I've always respected you from that perspective.
Thank you.
It's true. So I'd rather tell you this, give you your flowers as you are here. You know?
I can smell them. They smell good. Thank you. Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Let's talk about journalism.
Mm-hmm.
How did you know you had the calling?
I have always been fascinated by the truth. And always. To me, it was always a funny thing that people are trying to run away from something that is...
It's right there.
Even within us. I think in each and every person, there's always the truth. And I don't know why we work so hard to cover it.
That's why we have to investigate.
Exactly. So there needs to be this group of people that are not afraid of the truth, that are not afraid of uncovering it, regardless of who's in power, who will take what from me. The fact that there's something so beautiful, but it's so hidden. And I was like, no, I'm so gonna study journalism. And to me, it was never uncomfortable. And a lot of people are like, it's so risky. Oh my God, there's so much you can offer. I'm like, ke batla mo. Mpe mo.
In the middle center.
Nnete mo. Mpe nneteng mo. That's what I've always loved about it. And a lot of people thought I could do more just as a media personality. And I'm like, but I'm naturally like that. So I want something that's going to be more challenging for me, right? Something that's going to place me in a room where I will be held accountable for the truth. Tell people stories that they cannot tell themselves because they are also fearful of something or they haven't found their voice to tell their story. So if I can be that vessel for them, then why not? Instead of just taking the easy route and just being, oh, hi, my name is, you know? I'm not saying it's not a good thing, but for me, it's always wanted me to dig deeper. And for me, digging deeper was with journalism.
For me, you can look beautiful, but can we talk?
Exactly.
Oh, it's great, but
good.
Can you talk about politics? Do you know what GDP means?
Exactly. For me, it was always that I have so much to offer this world than my personality, than my face, than just my voice. Let me give something to people, even my generation or the next, that they can hold on to and remember me and say, wait, there was a girl from a range farm who in the middle of tear gases and bullets, she stood in front of her cell phone and reported this story to the country with absolutely no fear that a taxi owner would just pull up a gun on her.
They're not going to pull up a gun on you because the taxi driver understands you are the reason he's going to be hurt.
Exactly.
He doesn't touch you.
For me, it was always that.
He's not there for you. You're not the target.
Exactly.
You're there to market his cry.
Exactly. To tell his story in a way that he can't. Or maybe he's feeling that he's not being heard.
He's angry. And only you understand that language.
And trust me, I've had backlash, especially from my family, that, oh my God, you can just study law. If you love the truth so much, study law. If you love the truth so much, I'm like, I get that, but it's not going to be the same.
There's another way to tell the truth.
Exactly. And I prefer this one. And this is why I love it. And nothing replaces it. Nothing.
Like Kansas Golo, guys. Nothing replaces it.
I just always Girls, whatever you'd want to study, let it not remove you from the truth of who you are. Even if you choose to study whatever, civil engineering, whatever career field, let it not remove you so far from who you are that you cannot recognize yourself. When you go to bed, we see you. Even though journalism takes a lot from us, because you go to crime scenes and you have to tell the story.
Man, it's draining.
It hits you when you're home, More. I actually was at a scene where the family is still looking for the head of this person in this accident scene.
I was part of a story where a child who's underage died because electrical cables were exposed. He lost his life. He accidentally touched those cables and he lost his life. I had to sit there and listen to the aunt say, the room is empty and the house is quiet because that laughter is gone. That's what we deal with, Dipuo.
And you have to go home and be a functional daughter. and be a functional sister, but you left dysfunction at a story that you were covering.
That's why sometimes you fight with the people in your house, because you fight with everything all the time. Everyone, like, let's fight. You ready? Because if I can stand in front of tear gas, if I can stand in front of cops, I mean, let's go.
You can bring anything at any
Bro,
time,
let's
and
go.
I'm ready for it. And as much as it has its downs, I have celebrated the highs more than the downs, because a family is going to appreciate the fact that somebody told my story when I couldn't. And maybe if this story was well written this way, it has reached the people that I have to call into account for what happened to my child or what has happened. To me, that is what I take to my grave, that the money might not be good. I don't care about the money, but I go to bed with a satisfying and fulfilling feeling in my stomach that somebody's tears fell to me and I received them.
Wiped them.
Exactly, with the truth. And
so journalism gives hope when you think about it.
It does, so much so. And I don't regret the fact that I studied it and that I'm a vessel of the likes of you. Every person that I've shared a newsroom with, every person that I've shared the microphone with, every media outlet that has given me an opportunity to showcase my skills and my talents and my passion for journalism, I appreciate it. And there's nothing that I would take back, nothing at all. And I know a lot of people would say, but then why are you not in the prevalent stations that we know? And to them, I've always said, it's all about timing. And I'm a huge believer of God's timing.
Speaking of God,
there is a particular reason why not.
Who's God to you?
Get time. That is my father. Having been raised in a house where there was no father figure, my mom always led us to God. He said, there is someone that you have to account to. And if you don't hear me, hear him. So to me, God is my father. And at any juncture in life where I feel like, oh my God, I don't have answers for this, with him, I've always had an answer. I've always had light. I'm never lost. And that's where my identity is. And as much as Black people, we fight for our identity in our ancestral lineage. But with God, God is my father. And I believe what he says about me, I believe it as it is. Because when he says, you are made in my image and in my likeness, I believe it. And if he's superior and is sovereign, I'm just as he is. So you can never come to me and tell me that I'm nothing when he says I'm everything. If I'm made in his image and in his likeness, that means I'm as powerful as he is. If he spoke the word into existence and everything that we see is through him, I can do the same. So I possess the power that he has as the sovereign God.
Go deeper, man. Matthew 6, yes. Go deeper.
My identity has always been with God. And I believe in the Bible. I believe in the Bible. I believe in the fact that Christ is God's son and that he died for us on the cross, and that what he did for us on the cross now makes us approach God in boldness and say, through the blood of the Lamb that was slain on the rugged cross, Father, I come to you. Even though I want to come to you as I am, I come.
I want to know, are you mad at men?
I wouldn't say mad at men. I'm disappointed in men.
Deeper.
I'm disappointed in men because they are God's best friend and they're tiptoeing around it. How dare are you God's best friend, but you speak a language that I cannot understand when I'm supposed to submit to you?
Deeper?
If you are God's best friend, when you speak to me, I should understand you immediately as you speak, just as much as I hear him immediately as he speaks.
You must hear God.
Exactly. So the reason being you and I are at loggerheads 97% of the time is because you've removed yourself from your position with God and you still want me to submit under you.
I can't submit to a position as a
Exactly. So I'm not mad at men. Where they've placed themselves in this hierarchy with God is their problem. But they shouldn't make their problem mine. Exactly. So I am not going to understand you. You are not going to fulfill me if you are removed from your place with God. Because I am there as a woman with God. But if you're not there, you can't expect me to submit to you. I'd rather just submit to him. then you will take it up
He's a
with him.
safer place.
Exactly, he's safer than you. So the reason being that if you feel that I'm mad at you, I've always said to men that say, "Oh, Dipuo, you are bitter. You are so mad at us." I'm like, no, I'm disappointed.
Exactly. Because if you
Exactly.
need to defend yourself.
They are men that I absolutely adore because they know their place. And when they speak, they don't even have to say "Nyindota" or "Nikanda" or
action
whatever.
says
Their
Nindo.
actions speak. And when they walk in the room, I'm like, a man has walked in.
Back up you.
Exactly. He walks with the aura that I'm God's best friend, and he understands it. Even before he opens his mouth, I can read the room that God's best friend has walked in. And I take it from there.
I'm never speechless. I have a big mouth.
You do.
We do. It takes a twin of mine to get me to a point where I'm just like,
Okay.
I love you.
I love
If you don't know it, it's your choice.
I love you more.
If you find it, okay,
I
go
love
on.
you more. And I've seen it. I read in between the actions when a person loves me. Sometimes they choose me before they choose themselves, and that's when I pick up that this person loves me. And even before they say it, I know for sure that based on how they treat me and how they treat me as an equal.
You're first done, actually. What do you live by? What inspires you? What keeps you going?
What keeps me going is my faith. Even in a dark room where there could be maybe no food, no water, no electricity, my faith in God and the fact that He loves me is what keeps me going. Hans alimo.
Translation: you can't be lonely in a room with God. You can never be alone. Ganja, I love you. If you haven't heard it, my guy, if by now you don't know it, that's what it is. Still love it.
I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
Ne?
Love you.
How Ozula happy? Take me. Whatever motivates you, whatever inspires you, how will? The time is now, no better time than now. Remember, God separates you to be able to work with you. Dipuo, tell us about this world tour that you did.
So I've been working on a cruise ship. I'm part of MSC now, and my very first cruise was in Europe. So we were sailing around the entire Europe.
Sailing around. Okay, man.
So we were docking on all these different countries in Europe.
Docking. Okay.
Spain, to be precise. I've been to France. I've been to Spain. I've been to everywhere. Like Norway. Some countries I even forget because it was my first time even leaving the country. First time even stepping out of South Africa. I've only been to 2 provinces in the country, and the first time God decided for me to leave was entirely out of Africa, and it was in Europe. So
Was it nice where you went?
it was amazing. Okay, my name is Dipuo Mofokeng. I've been here with Reitumetse Shebe on the sit down. Thank you so much for having me.
My name is Reitumetse Shebe. This is the sit down. My time is up. I thank you for yours. See you next time. Okay. Aye, it's a wrap, guys.
Thank you for watching. See you next time on The Sit Down.